Let's talk a little bit about the foreign currency exchange market. That is foreign currency exchange. I'll just put exchange market. Now you'll see me abbreviate this a lot of times as FXR. Okay, FXR is just foreign currency exchange, foreign currency exchange rates. It's all encompassing. I'm referring to the rate of two currencies, the strength or weakness against from one currency to another, or the marketplace where currencies are openly traded. So let's start with some basics here. In this example, I have on the top of the y-axis where we normally see price, I have the exchange rate of euros to US dollars, or euros to US dollars. Now, when you see I guess it would be your sort of indicator, your symbol here. Whenever you look at financial markets, you'll typically just see 6 letters in a row, much like this: EURUSD. The way to interpret that is the first 3 letters is the currency that we're looking at. This is always set at 1, so 1 euro. And what is that asking us? We're saying how many US dollars would it take to buy 1 euro? Now, the current exchange rate, I looked at it earlier today, I think it was like $1.17. Let's just call it $1.20 for simple purposes. So $1.20. So in order to buy 1 euro, you need $1.20 in US currency. Now, the fun part of this is if you happen to see one currency exchange quote, you can reverse it and get to see how much 1 US dollar, how many euros 1 US dollar gets you. And how do we do that? That's pretty simple. It is just the reciprocal of your first number. So the reciprocal of $1.20, the reciprocal of $1.20 is going to, I'm going to say that is, I don't know, probably 0.8 something. Nope, I was wrong. So it's actually going to be 0.83. 3 keeps going. So you can get 83 euro cents, 0.83 euros for 1 US dollar. So in this scenario, the euro is a tad stronger than the dollar, right? You need to have more US dollars, relatively speaking, in order to buy just 1 euro. Okay, so time for a little thought experiment here. When it comes to the goods and services market, we'll look at the financial markets too, but let's start with goods and services. This graph here on the right, let's call this the market for washing machines. Washing machines. Well, yeah, washing machines. I'm just going to abbreviate it. I didn't want to write out the whole 2 words. For washing machines in the U.S. And basically, consumer preferences, there's, some people think that maybe in Germany, they make, say, better washing machines. They're better engineered, they're put together, they last longer, et cetera, so on and so forth. So if the market for washing machines in the U.S., if the price increases for washing machines in the U.S., price goes up, the quantity demanded will go down. So is that a shift in the demand curve or a movement along the demand curve? This is going to be a movement along the demand curve because it was a change in price only. A change in price only. Okay, so here's our new price, and here is our new quantity as opposed to our equilibrium quantity. And we have now a new equilibrium. Higher price, lower demand. So the price on U.S. made washing machines here in the United States went up. And that is a movement along the curve. Now we're going to look at the washing machines that are a substitute for U.S. made washing machines. The ones that are made in Germany, right? Instead of paying the higher price, people will shift from, I don't know, Westinghouse or whatever washing machines are made in the U.S. to some German brand. Let's say Mercedes makes a washing machine, fine. It is a bit of a substitute good, so keep that in mind as to what happens here. Now here's the EU market for washing machines. Keep in mind, the price changed in the US market, but price didn't change in the European Union market. And because the price went up for what folks kind of consider to be a more of an inferior type of product, they decided to look elsewhere to buy their washing machines, and they're looking overseas. They're looking at the European Union, the washing machines that Germany makes. That is going to increase the demand for the market for washing machines from the EU. Now, this is not, as you saw previously a few seconds ago, a movement along the demand curve. What we have here is higher demand across every price and quantity demanded combination across the board, shifting the demand curve. Let me just do this really quick here. Shifting the demand curve to the right. The demand curve, or the demand for EU manufactured washing machines, the demand for EU manufactured washing machines in the US. Okay, so now we've established that demand curve has shifted out for this particular type of foreign product made in the EU. So what do? Let's go buy a few. Great. The next shipment comes in the Port of New York, Port Authority, maybe through Port of Philly, Boston, anywhere. The big old cargo container ship comes over, and they got all these washing machines, and there's the captain of the ship and some folks from the EU economy, and we go over there and we say, hey, we would love to buy some of these washing machines from you because the price of the ones that we have here in the US, the price went up, and frankly we don't really care for the quality for them anyway. Our consumer preferences have changed, and our demand curve shifted out, so we'd like to go ahead and buy some of these. And like, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's be happy to help you out. So okay, we pull out our wallet and we start pulling out US dollars, right? And this steward of the European Union selling these washing machines now here at the US, he says, whoa. I don't live in the US. I don't take dollars. I need euros. You can pay me in euros, but you're not going to pay me in dollars. I sell my washing machines in euros, right? So now we go, oh, shucks, okay, so we need to go to where? We need to go to the foreign exchange market for euros to US dollars and US dollars to euros to change in our dollars in order to obtain the correct or appropriate currency to buy this this good or service, or washing machine as it were. So we take our US dollars, our US greenbacks, however many that we have that we need to buy as many German or EU washing machines that we want, US dollars, and we influx the foreign exchange market with US dollars for euros, because our demand for an imported good, a good that was made overseas in the European Union, In order to buy that, we need euros to purchase it. So our demand for euros is going to go up. What happens when that occurs? We flood this market with US dollars. Now, as you can see right here, $1.20 is the prevailing exchange rate, right? You can, with $1, for €1, you have to pay $1.20. So that's what this is. This is the price, the United States dollar price for €1. So we're going to flood the FXR market with dollars, and that is going to actually, and I'll give you a guess here in terms of how this graph is going to move. If you said the demand for euros using US dollars would increase and shift out, you'd be correct. You'd be correct. So now here's a new equilibrium, but that's not really all of the story. We were at a regular equilibrium right here at $1.20. But the demand, this huge influx of demand for euros, has pushed the price up. And now what has happened is it's sort of twofold. With the demand of euros, I guess U.S. consumers buying euros with U.S. dollars, that is going to diminish the supply of euros that are in the foreign currency exchange market between dollars and euros. So our demand elevated our price to here, P1, and then that demand push for euros dwindled or sort of diminished the supply of euros to where we had to come back to our original quantity equilibrium. But now what has happened is the dollar has weakened against the euro. So now the exchange rate has gone up. Let's just say, for just argument's sake, let's say it's now $1.35. So the demand for euros and eating into that supply of euros, which will shift that supply curve to the left, subsequent to the demand curve shifting to the right, will bring us to a new equilibrium. Not so much the quantity of dollars being traded for euros, but it will reach that equilibrium quantity again. However, the price will absolutely increase. So now, where we've gone from $1.20, it costs $1.20 in US dollars for €1. Now we're at what, $1.35. So for €1. Another way you can say this is that the euro strengthened against the dollar, or the dollar was weakened against the euro. Now, I don't want to get too twisted here. Just because there are connotations, positive connotations for the word strength, or appreciate, or negative connotations with weakening currency or depreciating currency, that's not always the case. A weak currency can be good in some circumstances. A strong currency can be bad in some circumstances. And we'll cover that in another video. One other example I'm going to provide to you here using this sort of same graph pertains to the financial markets. It's a pretty simple example. I'll get into that in the very next video. So stay tuned. Cheers.